Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Vishnu Doerga with Action Invest Caribbean Inc. And today we are again very happy to have you join us with the Who's Who in Guyana TV business show. Now, as you know by now, this show is really geared at ensuring that you get a lot of business education, but also that you are able to really get to learn about the opportunities that exist, the type of companies that exist in Guyana. And also, it gives us the opportunity to feature some of these fantastic companies and what they do mean to Guyana. As normal, I'll be joined by Coach Keon Smith after the break, and he will be talking to us about the power of participation. I must now welcome Ms. Rodlyn Semple, who is from our ISO consulting department, and she will be talking to us about awareness. So let's listen in to Rodlyn.
Good afternoon again. I'm Rodlyn Semple from ACI Consulting Services. This afternoon, we will be looking at awareness. Awareness is one of the requirements of the ISO 9001 standard, and it is identified underneath clause 7.3, which is a support process. Many of you are probably wondering, what is awareness and why is it related to the standard? As you choose to embark on the ISO journey, you should ensure that everyone is aware of what is expected of them. Specifically in clause 7.3, it tells us that the organization is responsible for ensuring that everyone who works for them, and we're talking about those internal stakeholders as well as external stakeholders, are aware. They should be aware of your quality management system. Further, the standard indicates that for awareness, the organization needs to make persons aware of the quality policy. I will be talking to you about this in another series. So the quality policy should be made aware to the staff, your suppliers, and anyone who has an impact on your quality management system. Awareness should also be done on what are the objectives, and we're talking about the quality objectives. These are specific goals that you would like to accomplish as part of the quality management system. You have to make persons aware of the importance of what they are doing as it relates to the QMS, as well as to why they should be doing it and why it is important. If a company does not create a system of awareness, you will find that many problems can occur. First of all, we're embarking on a system to ensure that our customers are satisfied. If they're not aware of your quality policy, if they're not aware of your requirements, how would they be able to conduct business effectively? Therefore, stakeholders should be aware of your QMS and how it can impact them. For further information on how the ISO 9001 standard can benefit you, send an email to iso@actioninvest.org or telephone us on telephone number 501-0110. Goodbye.
A company that cares. A company that stands firmly in supporting our athletes in Guyana to enhance their skills and building their passion. A company that helps to make their dreams a reality. Hand in hand, a proud supporter of sports development since 1865.
We help to simplify the adoption and acquisition of ICT services. Our services include ICT infrastructure for hotels, malls, and commercial buildings via fiber, copper, or wireless, technical training in fiber optics, cabling, and surveillance, plus fuel and fleet management solutions. JD Karn ICT Guyana Incorporated, an ICT engineering company. Your success is our business.
Tired of the hassle of running around looking for solutions? Worry no more. WM Services is here. We specialize in heating, ventilation, air conditioning, electrical, and generator services. As a residential, commercial, and industrial dealer, our trained and licensed team is waiting to bring you peace of mind. Make the call now. Telephone 611-4326. Email wmservicesgy@gmail.com or visit our website www.wmservicesgy.com.
A. Sons in the Gifflin Mall is your one-stop shop for all electronics, including laptop computers, flash drives and SD cards, tablets, speaker and stereo sets and the best brands, drum sets and guitars, household appliances, flat-screen TVs, hardware items, and lots more. So check us out today for the most affordable prices. A. Sons in the Gifflin Mall, making life better one day at a time.
Thank you very much for staying with us. And again, thanks to all our sponsors for really making sure that we know what's happening in Guyana. We know some of these fantastic services that are available. And if you're not yet in the Who's Who in Guyana business directory, please make sure that you get in there as quickly as possible. Reach out to our office and we'll help you get your spot into the Who's Who. I would now like to welcome Coach Keon Smith. Coach Keon, how are you doing today?
Pleasant good evening, Dr. Doerga, and good evening to all the viewers.
Very good. So, Coach Keon, I know we have a fantastic topic coming on today. It's all over to you. Please educate us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Doerga. Good evening to all of our viewers today. We're going to be touching on a topic that is referred to as the power of participation. Now, as a leader, as a team member, there are many different obstacles that may come our way, some of them real and some are what we call manufactured. Sometimes we create those hurdles even before we encounter them. In business, professional or personal, the only failure that you have is your failure to participate. The power of participation tells us that if we give and make the effort, we can get the results. For example, think about a small child. When they were learning to walk, of course, in that process, they would have fell down multiple times. But did they stop, decided that they're not going to do it anymore, and that they're going to keep crawling? If you take a look at your kids now, they're all walking, running, sometimes even to your dismay because you have to tell them to slow down. And similarly, as parents, we were their biggest cheerleaders. In retrospect, I would even say sometimes we condoned violence by telling them to get up, dust off, and go again. Similarly, in business, it is up to us to determine who are going to be our cheerleaders so that we can get up, dust off, and go again. So what I want to share with you today would be some tips that you can use with regard to participating, giving 100% so that you can get 100%. Number one speaks about, first of all, acknowledging the fears or your fear. Fear for us means false expectations appearing real. It is creating that mindset that you are going to, like you've done before, face everything and rise. Because let's face it, we would have had situations in our past that would have created hurdles. Did we allow it to stop us? No, we did not. So it is acknowledging the fear and changing it into something positive where you face everything and rise. Number two, to participate speaks about getting clarity on the content or the contents that you're going to be going after. For example, if you want to improve your marketing strategy, don't tell yourself that this strategy would not work and it's a different country as compared to others. We need to participate. So test the strategy, measure the strategy, and then determine what can be tweaked in order to improve it, or if it really doesn't work, you are confident that you would have tested and measured the results from the strategy. Participation means determining what do you need to learn in order for you to improve. And it is important that you learn so that when you take actions, your actions can be massive and not in such a way where you're, as we say in Ghana, we're trying a thing. Number three talks about creating an atmosphere that encourages participation. And this can be both in your professional, social, or personal spheres. As part of creating that atmosphere that encourages participation, you would need to, first of all, be respectful. Being respectful goes beyond just having manners and saying good morning or good afternoon. It is keeping in mind that all of us, everyone that you interact with, they were born with a brain. So we have to consider that they may have opinions or suggestions, and we need to be respectful to each other and give the person the opportunity to share their ideas and or opinions. Number two talks about speaking loud enough so that everyone can hear you. Participation involves you using your voice to put your opinions on the table. When we stay silent, quiet, and to ourselves, we are doing the opposite of participating. And we can have a brilliant idea brewing, but because of our lack of confidence and or the environment not being conducive for participation, we may not share that idea. Then we have to consider that we need to listen to team members. Listening to our team members would allow ideas to flow and for persons to feel that they are included as part of the team. This is one of our 6 keys to a winning team where we posit 100% involvement and inclusion. So what atmosphere do you have for our team members, for your team members to participate that you can listen to them? Secondly, in listening, you want to practice active listening versus passive listening. You want to demonstrate to your team members that you value their opinion, and you can do this by having a notepad where you position that you'll be taking notes based on what your team members would have said. You demonstrate active listening when you can paraphrase, rephrase, or refer to something that a team member would have mentioned during their discourse. It is important that while someone is speaking, to avoid interrupting that person as they are sharing their opinion or comments. Regardless of your position or status in the organization, whether you're a manager, a team leader, you're the owner, it is important to give your team members that level of respect and ensure that you pay attention to what they're saying and do not interrupt their thought flow. Finally, to participate, it may require you seeking help or asking for clarifications on something that needs to get done. Participation involves us being 100% committed to the process, and in certain situations, it may require you to seek help and or clarification. Again, regardless of your position or status within the organization, you are never too big, never too powerful to ask for assistance or help. So I repeat, today, the power of participation requires us to be 100% involved, and we give 100%, we can get 100%. To do that, we want to acknowledge our fears and change it to a positive mindset, get clarity on the content, and create an atmosphere that encourages participation. Dr. Doerga?
Thank you very much for sharing this today with us, Keon. And again, thank you so much for sharing info, education. How can people make contact with Action Coach?
Definitely. For those persons who would like to learn more about this and other concepts, they can call us on 223-5583. They can visit us on our Facebook page or on our website, and one of our team members will be more than happy to provide you with the initial steps of how to start getting this information and more and get clarity on the direction that you would like to go in.
Right. So if you're a business owner out there, an executive, and you're already doing fairly well, but you know that there's so much more out there, you know that in order for your organization to grow to the next level, you do need the best support, like a very good athlete,
Yes.
people who just play a sport, people who just try a thing, they don't need a coach. It's only the real athletes that are aiming to win championships. Those are the ones that go for coaches, and it's no different in business.
As well.
So for the business athletes out there, get yourself a business coach. Thank you very much, Coach Keon.
Thank you, Dr. Doerga.
I'll take a very quick break, and then I'll be back to just expand a little bit on what Coach Keon has just mentioned. Thank you.
ISO certification, a well-known key to securing international business and creating industry juggernauts, has now come to Guyana. Over 1 million certified companies reap the benefits of ISO certification. In a time where consumer dollars are more important than ever before, there's greater expectations for quality and trusted products and services. Quite frankly, top-tier clients demand ISO certification to gain their trust. No matter the scale of your operations, no matter your niche, there's an ISO for you. Global Compliance Service is a trusted, internationally accredited certification body with an arsenal of industry experts and world-class auditing teams to assist you throughout the certification process. Visit our website and get a free quotation within 24 hours. These are unprecedented times, and we need every advantage to stay ahead. Check out GCS personnel training programs, specializing in the lucrative field of ISO auditing. Our courses are now fully online, ranging from beginner to advanced proficiencies. Become an internal auditor in your organization, or a lead auditor qualified to carry out third-party audits and manage an auditing team. And for the elites, become a GCS Management System Specialist. We stand at the cusp of global change, and we are proud to be an ally in creating a new standard of business in Guyana.
Thank you. Well, there you had it, a message from Action Coach with Coach Keon, and then also a message from Global Compliance Service. And as you know, Global Compliance Service is all about ensuring that companies can get their teams trained in all things ISO, but also globally certified, so that it's much easier for companies to gain that recognition that they require to be able to perform at a global level with all these external companies that are coming in as well. Now, Keon mentioned to you that participation is extremely important. If you are from a private organization, having a low level of participation will actually mean that your organization will be less profitable, a lot more health and safety issues. It could also be more theft, because if nobody's looking and people are just left to do what they want to do, guess what happens? Customer ratings could be very poor, so only when customers really need you, that's when they'll actually come to you. Higher level of staff turnover, and also less free time for the owners, the executives, because every moment you have to deal with another emergency. Now, of course, that's not where we want to be, but organizations like that actually end up with a lot of disengaged people. And according to Gallup, nearly 18% of people within an organization are actually actively disengaged, almost like throwing the anchor down behind the boat, trying to sink it. And just around 20% of people are highly engaged. All the yellow that you see on the screen there, those are the people who are doing exactly what they get paid to do and nothing more. If you need them to do something, you'll actually have to spell it out for them and tell them do that, or else you might as well go do it yourself. And guess what? That's what a lot of executives do. A lot of business owners do. They end up having to do the work themselves, and then guess what? They complain because they're paying a set of people and nothing gets done. Very, very unfortunate. So what we want to look at is what happens when people are really much more engaged in your workforce. According to Gallup 2017, we have the later research as well, but all the customer metrics are at least 10% higher. Productivity increases by 17%, and generally organizations are able to generate at least 20% more sales. And according to Gallup, there's a 21% spike in profitability. And again, that's why most private organizations are set up. If you're looking at the show and you are from a government entity or an NGO, again, most government entities and NGOs have a budget that they need to operate within. And the way engagement helps you is it allows you to execute your work plan, your complete work plan within the budget. If you are from the government or an NGO and you can execute your entire work plan within the budget and maybe even have some savings that you can allocate to do additional stuff, that is your profit, right? When you can save the budget or you can take money out of the budget, you've already completed everything and you can do more, that is when you know that you are actually profitable. So it also works really well for your industry. Now, people want to know, well, how can I put numbers to this? And I want to make it a little bit easier for you by thinking about your organization. Let's say you have 50 people working in your organization, and we know according to Gallup, about 18% are definitely highly disengaged. It means that your organization actually has about 9 people highly disengaged, throwing the anchors down and costing the organization a lot of grief. And let's say you are paying someone about $150,000 per month. Let's say that's the average salary in Guyana. That's starting to become, the lower end of the salary scale. But we also know that a highly disengaged person, you're actually losing 34% of the salary that you're paying them. So if you were to pay somebody $100,000, what Gallup basically says, what all these studies around the world say, is that these people are basically generating just about 66,000 in profitability and productivity back for the organization. So you pay 100,000, you get 66,000 back in terms of productivity. And that actually means that in such an organization, a single employee could actually cost you 612,000 in lost salary, lost wages every single year. Now, if you multiply the 9 people by that 600,000, you can see that in an organization with 50 people, the cost of this engagement is nearly $5.5 million. Now, I know that there are many different sizes of organizations. So let's say you have a smaller organization, 30 people. That means that there are about 5 people who are highly disengaged, costing the same 612,000. So for a smaller organization, your cost of disengagement could be around 3.3 million. Some people have asked me, hey, Vishnu, we pay a lot more than that. We are in oil and gas, or we are in a ministry where the salaries are fantastic. Well, let's make it a little bit easier. Let's say you still have 50 people. We know 9 of them are highly disengaged. And in Guyana, by our measurements, we've seen organizations with 30-40% highly disengaged people. But let's say you're paying better. You're paying 300,000 per month. That's 3.6 million per year, which means that on a highly disengaged portion, you're losing about 1.2 million. And again, you could say, well, that's not a lot. It's better than losing the whole 3 million on an employee. Well, some people may argue for that. But think about it. If you have 9 highly disengaged employees costing about 1.2 million, For an organization of 50 people, that's about $11 million per year, just the cost of this engagement. Now, what we can help you with is that we actually offer Gallup polls, and normally these cost nearly $50,000 to conduct for an organization. But for any organizations that actually call in and say, well, we saw the show, we understand the mathematics behind employee disengagement, we want to test our organization. We want to know exactly how many highly engaged people we have, how many just engaged, and how many highly disengaged people we have. Reach out to us, and what we'll do is we'll actually arrange one of these surveys for your organization so you can really see what's going on. And again, I'm hoping that whatever you're doing is working and that you're having fantastic results. If that is not the case, I must also remind you that the surveys that we do, they are anonymous and they take between 60 seconds to 2 minutes to complete. So it's very quick. If one of your employees tells you, well, they can't find 60 seconds to do the survey, you can automatically put them in the highly disengaged bucket. Because if they can't do that, guess what else they may not be doing for you. We have a lot of programs that help with really driving up engagement, and the testimonials that we're getting across the country, across the organizations are really fantastic. I would encourage you to take a look at our page, take a look at our client pages. You'll see the fantastic, massive results that they're all getting. And again, when you have a highly engaged workforce, it's a real joy to work in those organizations. And I would want that everyone experiences that level of joy of working in an organization. So if you need that, call us 223-5583, find our website, let us know that you saw this about employee engagement and you want to know what's going on in your organization. And again, we'll be right there. We'll be able to help you out, measure it, provide the report, and then you make the decisions of what you want to do with the report. I trust that you really enjoyed this evening's show. As normal, we'll be with you every single Tuesday at 7:30, NCNE Networks, YouTube, Facebook. Take a look at the show. If you learned something really useful, make sure that you share it with your friends, business owners that you know, anybody who can really benefit from having a far more effective organization. See you next week.
Broaden your horizons when thinking about investing long-term. Buying shares in one of the companies traded on the Guyana Stock Exchange allows you to participate in the success of that company. Unlike interest from banks, dividends from shares are tax-free, and profit from any increase in share price does not incur capital gains tax. You can buy shares through a stockbroker. Visit www.gasci.com for details. Shares are freely transferable and can be sold for cash when needed. Invest through the stock exchange. One market, greater returns.
We help to simplify the adoption and acquisition of ICT services. Our services include ICT infrastructure for hotels, malls, and commercial buildings via fiber, copper, or wireless, technical training in fiber optics, cabling, and surveillance, plus fuel and fleet management solutions. J.D. Karn ICT Guyana Incorporated, an ICT engineering company. Your success is our business.
Tired of the hassle of running around looking for solutions? Worry no more. WM Services is here. We specialize in heating, ventilation, air conditioning, electrical, and generator services. As a residential, commercial, and industrial dealer, our trained and licensed team is waiting to bring you peace of mind. Make the call now. Telephone 611-4326. Email wmservicesgy@gmail.com or visit our website www.wmservicesgy.com.